Hello all. This is the Government Information or Special Interest Group meeting for NMLA from October 2022. I was not able to present in person, so I wanted to record it just in case anyone had wanted to attend and could not. So let's get started. My name is Catherine Montoya. I'm the Government Documents Librarian at the New Mexico State Library in our Public Service Bureau, and I help administer the State Depository Program, and then I help with the Federal Depository Program as one of the shared regionals. On this screen, you'll see a link to our catalog, to a LibGuide about Fed docs, and then a LibGuide about state docs. For any further information you might need, and also you can always contact me. My contact information will be at the end of the presentation. So today I wanted to talk about, Halloween and Gov Docs and just using sort of topical or themed documents to create a display to draw people in. Of course, Halloween would have been perfect for when the meeting was supposed to happen. So that was the example that I had. Then we're going to talk about a brief update for the New Mexico State Depository, a brief update for the Federal Depository, and then I kind of wanted to address storytelling with Gov Docs and how I've seen it done and how I've tried to do it. So for Halloween and Gov Docs, these are some things I pulled, mostly from our physical collection. I have one item in the upper left-hand corner that was from a digital item, and there's a link to it there for when you get the slides. You can click on it if you want. So just kind of going through this, on the left-hand side, I have federal documents. One is about costume making, not specifically for Halloween, but for making authentic time period costumes. There is something from the education department on ghost stories. And then Tricky Treats just happens to have a really cool name and is written by Georgia Perez, who is a native New Mexican, a Native American, and worked with the Department of Health to create a series of books that talk about diabetes awareness. Then we have a portfolio of costume patterns, which comes from the Museum of Folk Art, I think, if I remember correctly, from the State Documents collection. Then I have Ghost Towns of New Mexico with a map and a book, and these are two separate items from two separate agencies, just kind of a way to show what different areas of the government are doing and looking at and trying to reach people with. The Federal Depository Library Program has subject guides and then also monthly staff picks, and I've linked to both of those here. So in case you want any further information for creating your own displays on topical areas or monthly holidays or things like that, you can go and find that information at those links. I'm also going to try, and I've started, and I'm going to try and make a more robust topical monthly holiday kind of resource guide for state documents. So that is in the works, and if you have any suggestions of what I can put in there, I would be happy to add them. So look for that. It will come up, and hopefully that will allow you to create displays that will draw people in. And if it's sort of like, just an aesthetic draw at first, maybe that will turn into something more deep, in their research. And also maybe just make Gov Docs more accessible to everybody walking by or patrons coming in who just don't know what could be in Gov Docs. So a brief update from the State Depository. If you don't know, or you haven't seen, or you're new, we do have a digital repository or a digital archive for digital state publications. And we just want to make sure that everybody is linking to those items. I do send out, as they are made available to me, the links for these documents, and I would try to do it. We'd like to be monthly, but we're working on a backlog still, but I think we're doing a great job of working through it. And so we just want to make sure that you know about this platform, your patrons can get to this platform from your catalog, because there's a lot of interesting stuff here, mostly born digital, some digitized, and I would like to do more digitization to get some older stuff up there as time goes by. So just update your URLs in your catalog when and if you have time. I know staffing is always a problem, but just so you know that these are out there for your patrons too. And just a quick snapshot of how much traffic we get on there. Between January and October of this year, we had 3,113 people access that were not a part of the state library. We had 1,900 plus keyword searches, 2,900 plus navigation searches, and 449 advanced searches. So I think that's pretty good. We're getting some traffic there. I get a lot of requests for more information from people who have found this site and are looking for something they thought would be on there but is either not yet on there or is maybe just doesn't belong on there, but is still bringing people to our collections so we can help them. For the federal depositories update, well, I think we all know, or if we don't know, we will know, that the Federal Depository Library Program and GPO would like to go all digital. That is their end goal. They believe that it is possible. I think there is still conversation happening and some questions coming from the general library community or the federal documents library community about, tackling digitizing stuff versus what's being born digital, and where is that sort of meeting, because you do need to capture what's coming out digitally, and that seems to be a very big problem. Whereas looking backwards and digitizing things and making sure that happens is sort of the focus of what they've been talking about. So it will be interesting to see how those two ideas of going all digital meet at some point. For the meantime, they've divided us into 4 different regions. Our region is West, and I put an image here of all the states included in the National Collection Service Area West. What this means is at least one regional depository or specified selective depository has to have a physical copy of whatever item has been digitized and now can be removed from a regional collection. So for more information on that, you can go to the webpage. You can see thus far what regionals are allowed to remove from their collection as a physical item. It does not mean they will. So if you're concerned about what NMSL or UNM or NMSU is doing with this allowance for getting rid of physical regional items, just reach out to one of us so that we can give you more information on what we're doing. And I'll try to put some more information on that on our LibGuide about that as well. But, so as selectives, you all primarily have the ability to get rid of or weed or withdraw or supersede all that you want, as long as it's 5 years or older. And if you have questions about that, you can reach out to. But I don't know if anyone has concerns about what regionals might do. Some expressed that concern in other areas during our meeting. So if you have questions, please let us know. So this is just to let you know what is possible, not what is going to happen. You have to really talk to your regional about that. And there will be a new tool coming out in October that will replace Data Miner, and it's called Data Manager. And that tool will allow all of us to see, what regionals actually have, what selectives actually have, what we're really wanting to keep, what we're marking to get rid of. We can have, more specific conversations about content. So it should be an interesting tool, and there will be training on it in fall of 2023. And then, of course, we just want to remind everyone that FDLP Exchange is there to do your withdrawals and your weeding, offer up to the regionals first, and then they go out to the country, and then you are all set. We have had a couple libraries make very good use of FDLP Exchange recently to help manage their collections, their physical collections, and we are grateful for that. Okay, so storytelling with Gov Docs. I just think that we have an opportunity to try and bring people who don't know anything about Gov Docs more into the fold of what Gov Docs can do for them or for their research, whether it's personal family histories or institutional histories or government history or national information, and it can be used to create a story that will inform people and just capture interest for the general public. For me, this is my attempt at kind of trying to create a story just from my own family here in New Mexico, but using federal government documents. So through BLM patents and surveys, and I've linked to it there, you can find patents and surveys for specific people, not only here in New Mexico, but all over the country. And so this is for my great-grandfather, and the patent and the survey for the area of land that he homesteaded on back in the early 1900s. And then I've used a tool called Night Lab Timeline, and this is a free tool. There's a free version of this tool you can link to. You can show your patrons how to use, and if we were live, I would go into it and show you. But as this is recording, I'm just going to point you to the links here that I have. The first one for the tool itself, and then the second one for a timeline that I created. It is a work in progress, but it sort of follows the life of my great-grandfather and pulls in resources from different government documents. And so I think that's a really cool way to show people how they can find their history in government documents. And then another way that GovDocs can be used in just a piece of the storytelling of a larger story. My example is the Acequias project from the UNM CRS. They have some filmmakers there, renowned filmmakers, making this amazing film about acequias in New Mexico, and they were looking for and wanted to film this 1907 Acts of the Legislative Assembly of the Territory of New Mexico because it was key legislation that happened in this assembly that affected acequias here in New Mexico. And so they came in and they filmed this document, and they were really grateful for it, and it's like a key piece of the story. It's something that helps us understand why things happen the way they are right now and how long ago some of this stuff was enacted. So just a really cool way to see GovDocs in a story, a much larger piece of the story of our history. So I hope those are of interest to you and maybe help you see and help you tell your patrons how GovDocs are important. And that is it. If you have any questions, please contact me or Lori Thornton, and we would be happy to answer your question. Thank you all. Bye.